Two airplanes colliding in midair, thieves trying to rob a bank with a Peugeot, women thrown into the void while swinging. Make yourself comfortable. Here are the sequences you would have never believed if they had not been filmed by cameras. You've probably already heard about the gates of hell in Turkmenistan. Well, we've found another hole. This time, it's in Yemen. Do you want to take a look? Then follow us. We're off to discover the Well of Barhoot in the east of Yemen. What you see there is a natural wonder that is full of mysteries, stories, and myths. This well, discovered by geologists, fascinates so much that it was given the name of the Well of Hell. Although I doubt that in hell there are wells. This giant hole of 30 meters wide and more than 200 meters deep is located exactly in the desert of Al-Mahra province, about 1,300 kilometers east of the capital Sana'a, near the border of Oman. According to the myths surrounding it, this hole was created to serve as a prison for demons, a superstition supported by the pestilential odors that emanate from it. To this day, Yemenis claim to be unaware of what the hole contains and say that they could not have gone deeper than 60 meters when they entered it. As soon as the geologists arrived there, they turned back after noticing strange things inside, despite the darkness that reigns there. And if this hole fascinates so much, it is also because it is millions of years old and it feeds more and more stories of evil spirits and demons. Legend also has it that anything that comes close to it will be drawn into the darkness of the well. Does this terrify you? Then a piece of advice: don't get too close. By the way, it's time for us to go back too. If anyone ever asks you if you know where hell is, show them the way. You are a very romantic person by nature, and you dream of meeting your soulmate, proving your love and devotion. That's all we wish for you. But first, close your eyes and put yourself in the place of this young man and tell us if you would be able to act as he did. You're driving down one of New York's busiest boulevards with your girlfriend when suddenly your girlfriend gets a call on her phone. She answers, then the phone call starts to go on a little too long. Tired, she looks around for a bench to sit on but can't find one. And since you are a very dedicated person, you quickly understand the situation and decide to serve as her chair. Yes, a human chair. You squat down and beckon her to sit on your lap. Your beloved doesn't hesitate. She settles down comfortably, stays that way for many minutes until she finishes her call, without the slightest embarrassment. None. During all this time, thousands of people passed by you and looked at you with a strange look, because admit it, what you've just done is very strange. And as if that wasn't enough, you tenderly kiss her back while she talks. Some people are lucky. Your girlfriend has finally finished talking, and luckily for you, because you were starting to lose feeling in your legs. She's happy to have you and tells you so, but unfortunately in the eyes of others, you are the dumbest boyfriend on earth. After all, don't they say that love makes you blind? It might even be invalidating in your case. Anyway, the important thing for you is to have conquered the heart of your sweetheart, because I don't know many people who would agree to do what you did. Kervil Holness is an American living in the United States. For as long as he can remember, he has dreamed of owning his own villa, especially in Florida, a place he cherishes immensely. One day, he came across an online auction for Broward, where a villa was for sale in Florida for the modest sum of $9,100. A real shot in the arm. A bargain for our friend who was just waiting to pay without even having seen it. But once on the spot, the man discovered to his great misfortune the scam he had just fallen into. Indeed, Kervil Holness was quickly disillusioned when he discovered that his villa was in fact a small piece of grass whose value certainly did not exceed $50. He thought he had bought a villa, but in reality, he had bought a patch of lawn measuring 30 centimeters wide and 6 meters long. The strip was between two villas on Northwest 100th Way in Spring Lake. It started at the curb where two mailboxes are located and went under a wall separating the garages of the two neighboring homes, then extended to the backyards of the homes. Very angry, Kervil Holness declares in his defense that he was fooled by the deceptive and misleading photos on the site. Indeed, the advertisement showed the villa in its entirety, without specifying that the object of the sale was only the strip of grass. Unfortunately for this unlucky guy, the laws in force in the state of Florida are not on his side and will not allow him to obtain compensation for his immense prejudice, in which, incidentally, 4 other buyers fell who had also participated in the auction. Well, he will always be able to grow lettuce and radishes and install a cow, so that every morning, his neighbors will have a little thought for him when they take their car out of their garage. On July 16, 2021, in the 20th arrondissement of Paris, thieves showed up near an ATM in the middle of the street in the morning. They intended to commit a robbery by destroying the ATM with a car. The only problem was that they couldn't find a better way to carry out their crime than with a small old Peugeot Ram car. While one of the two thieves was holding the steering wheel and driving at the ATM to pulverize it, the other was standing there, waiting for the wall to be destroyed. After many attempts, a completely destroyed car, and seeing the wall refuse to fall, the two thieves finally gave up their plan. They ran away before the police arrived, leaving the pile of junk and going back empty-handed. They honestly thought that their grandfather's old Peugeot would do the trick, but it turns out that old things aren't necessarily the strongest. In any case, all they will have gained is to have the image of the stupidest thieves in the world. They, who had seen a little too much La Casa de Papel and dreamed of reproducing the same scenario, are not ready to move on to Season 2. In July 2021, two young women were at a tourist site in Dagestan and had planned to spend the day there to visit the area and go on the famous swing, the one looking over the spectacular cliff of the Sula Canyon. At the edge of this canyon, which is also the deepest in Europe, the swings are very popular for tourists who like to take pictures on them and enjoy a breathtaking view. As the two women sat on the swing and enjoyed the activity and the wonderful view, one of the chains on the device suddenly snapped, causing one side of the swing to fall off. The two young women were then propelled into the void. The accident was so unexpected and unpredictable that everyone was left stunned and shocked. Fortunately, the two tourists landed on a platform below and escaped the worst. Even if the two women were slightly injured, they considered themselves very lucky not to have been caught by the void, a scenario that would have been very dramatic. Moreover, following this event, the authorities decided to ban the attraction, as most swings do not respect the safety rules and are not equipped with safety belts that protect tourists. This time, these two young women cannot say that they did not have the breath taken away in front of this sight. Mike Robinson is an experienced skydiver and instructor with over 900 jumps under his belt, making several jumps a day. One day in 2013, Mike Robinson was about to make his fourth jump of the day with a team of other skydivers. With a camera screwed to his helmet, Mike Robinson and the other 9 skydivers took a flight, thinking they were going to capture their jump. But instead, they immortalized an absolutely nightmarish moment. Indeed, during their flight, just as they were about to jump, their plane was hit by another Cessna aircraft at an altitude of 3,600 meters above Wisconsin, USA. The images filmed by their camera from different angles are terrifying. At the moment of the explosion, the parachutists jumped into the void without having prepared themselves, just to avoid the worst. At the moment of the collision, one of the two planes caught fire before plunging into the void, while Mike and his team continued filming the crash without even knowing it. The cause of this accident could not be identified, but luckily everyone escaped alive. The pilot of the crashed plane used his emergency parachute before the plane crashed into the ground. A real miracle. But although there were no fatalities that day, it was a very dramatic event for them. Indeed, an accident like this one is not easy to live with, even for the most experienced parachutists, such as our friend Mike Robinson, who has, after all, many years of practice behind him. This will definitely be the most memorable flight of his life, but also the most painful. The surfer you see in these pictures is accompanied by several friends. They met that day at the beach to ride the waves and do stand-up all day, since the weather was very nice and the sun was shining high. To immortalize his tricks, the young man set up a GoPro camera on his paddleboard and launched himself into the water with his paddle in hand. That day, the waves were relatively wild, which pleased our friend, but at one point, the camera caught something incredible. As he was trying to dodge the waves and avoid falling, the surfer's board accidentally hit a huge shark that was coming towards him the wrong way. As a result of the impact, the animal flipped over and ended up on the bottom of the water. The surfer lost his balance and fell off his board. A terribly frightening fall for the young man, who could very well have been caught by the dreaded shark. Fortunately, he managed to get up and put his feet back on the board to get out of the water and avoid losing a leg or an arm. This surfer never thought he would see a shark so close in his life. In a forest in Brazil, a boa was snaking around in the ground, looking for a prey big enough to calm his hunger. It had not eaten for several days, so it was ready to face any animal, as long as it was not hungry anymore. After a long day of hunting, he finally managed to catch a lone porcupine, a prey that fell at the right time. Except that it didn't turn out at all as the snake had planned. A fierce fight followed the meeting of the two beasts. Although the reptile is more agile than the porcupine, the latter used its sharp spikes to plant them all along the body of its predator. The porcupine tried to resist, but the pain overcame the strength, and it finally abandoned its prey. The snake was then filmed by a hiker who passed by it, accompanied by his dog. On the video, the reptile appeared to be in severe pain. Hundreds of spikes were deeply embedded in its skin and were spread all along its body. It was in so much pain that it was squirming in pain. After this bad encounter, this poor snake, if it was lucky enough to survive such an accident, will most certainly go vegetable. So what do you think of these incredible sequences? Which one do you find the most surprising? Tell us what you think in the comments, and if you like this video, Don't forget to give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell to receive all the notifications and not miss any of our upcoming content.